Send in tonight's confession. Thank you, Sally J. Father Simon, Brother Matt, Sister Susie in the pub, though not in the pub today, actually in the studio, because it's all okay. Well, it's not, when I say it's all okay, I'm not saying it's all okay, but it's all allowed, which is the most important thing. Is that okay? Thanks.
That's fine.
I have a confession to make, says Sally J, and I'm hoping for forgiveness for something that happened some years ago. On my sister and brother-in-law's wedding anniversary, my late husband and I were asked to join them at a rather nice restaurant for a celebratory meal. How nice, I thought. What should I wear? You should know I have a rather comprehensive wardrobe, most of which should have gone to a jumble sale years ago. As it was a lovely summer evening, I settled on my sparkly, flamboyant skirt, recently purchased in Belgium. I don't know why I was surprised. I was surprised at that point. I don't know. That may well be the home of sparkly, flamboyant skirts. And for the purposes of this confession, it is. I was quite pleased, says Sally J, with the look that I'd just put on. We duly set off in my Mondeo Deluxe to drive to the Somerset village where the meal was to take place. Sometimes it's difficult to park at this particular venue, so I was delighted to get a spot more or less right outside the restaurant. Perfect. We joined our fellow guests and had a very pleasant evening indeed. All was well, and we had that nice feeling that you get after a great night out. Unfortunately, that nice feeling wasn't to last very long because things started to go wrong the minute we got outside the restaurant. My husband took 3 large strides, opened the passenger door of the car and got in ready for the off. That's strange. I thought I don't think I unlocked it. Oh well, let's get in and go home. I went round to the driver's door and it wouldn't unlock. Oh, for goodness sake, I exclaimed. I'll get in the other side, and I asked John, who has poor mobility, to get out of the passenger seat and let me climb over and do it that way. I got out, he got out, I got in. I had to climb over the gear stick and the handbrake, but eventually I was there.
Okay.
You've all done it. It's a big palaver. It was at this stage I remembered that my cardie, which I'd left on the back of the chair, was still in the restaurant. And as listeners of a certain age know, you dare not go out in this country without your cardigan.
Quite right.
Am I wearing a cardigan?
Yes,
I am wearing a cardigan, of course.
Yeah.
I would have to go back to the restaurant to collect it. I asked John to get out of the car again. As I said, his mobility was bad, allowing me to climb over the handbrake and the gear stick and so on to get out. I couldn't ask John to get it because his mobility wasn't good enough. With the cardie fully duly collected, we went through the rigmarole again. Okay, I'm climbing in, so I climbed over the gear stick and so on.
Yeah.
Let's get going. I put the key in the ignition to start the car. Alas, nothing. The key wouldn't turn. Oh, struth, I said, or words to that effect. Let me have a go, said my brother-in-law, who's at the back, who by this time had come from the restaurant. As my brother-in-law, actually he's still outside, as my brother-in-law is quite technically minded, I decided that this was worth a shot. I asked my husband to get out again.
Oh, no.
Then I could climb over, and then the brother-in-law got in, and he climbed over and had a go. No good, he said. You'll have to call the breakdown people. It's obvious what's happened, I said. We've had a catastrophic breakdown in the locking department. I prided myself on being the engineer in our marriage. The brother-in-law vacated the car and I climbed in for the 3rd time. I need to get my bag from the back seat and get the phone out. By this time I'm starting to get just a little bit fed up. It's the ruination of an otherwise lovely evening. Looking around the car for my handbag and inspiration, I caught sight of all my rubbish. I really must clean the car over the weekend, I thought. There was the usual empty crisp bags, empty water bottles, tissues, several sausage roll bags from a well-known baked goods shop. My husband could never go past one of these particular shops without buying a sausage roll. Then I noticed white chocolate wrappers. We both hated white chocolate, as do most right-minded people.
Right.
I quite like white chocolate.
So I'm thinking, well, rubbish is okay, but this wasn't my rubbish. It belonged to someone else.
Yes.
And furthermore, so did the car. Quick, I said to my exhausted, long-suffering husband with limited mobility, get out! I clambered over the handbrake again, you get the picture, and we did what any other self-respecting couple would do in the situation. We legged it. Well, actually, says Sally J, I legged it, but my husband did a sort of lopsided hobble.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we only had to leg it about 20 yards because we found another Mondeo Deluxe, surprisingly, which looked exactly the same as our car. And unsurprisingly, the key fitted and we sped off down the road, leaving a cloud of exhaust smoke. Ta-da! No damage done, you might say. Could happen to anyone. No harm done. Alas, the next day when I picked up our discarded outfits from the bedroom floor where we had left them, I discovered that my sparkly, flamboyant skirt, purchased recently in Belgium, was completely devoid of any sparkle. It was totally and completely sparkless.
Oh, no.
Every sequin was missing. There wasn't a single one left on my dress. They must have all got caught on the handbrake in the gear stick when I went in and out.
Yes.
Leaving discarded sequins in some poor bloke's Mondeo Deluxe. He may not have had a reasonable explanation for this occurrence. He's quite likely divorced and living on his own in a drafty bedsit with damp on the walls, unopened mail in the hall, and a half-eaten pot of fish paste in an otherwise empty fridge.
Quite an image.
Wow.
It's, well, you never know. And it all happened because I discarded my sequins in the wrong Mondeo Deluxe. And it is from this poor person from whom I seek forgiveness for having possibly... Oh, that was
smooth.
That was
Wow.
one of the best. Let me just do a little shift. Just moving the gear stick. Just doing a U-turn. This is the World Service.
Wow.
Anyway, Sister Susie, what do you say to Sally J, who left her sequins in a pile in the Mondeo Deluxe?
Well, I feel like she should be also asking for forgiveness for her poor husband. You know, in, out, in, out. It's like the hokey-cokey in that car. And you know what? Sequins are the worst thing on earth to pick up. So they will
I find
probably
that.
be still in that car right now. So for that reason, I'm sorry. I can't forgive you, Sally J.
Brother from another gutter.
Was no one else looking at the car? Why is it all down to Sally J to get them all in the car? Can you not see we're in the wrong car? It's not all down to her, and she's got to get out, and she's got to go in, and nobody else is going to go in for the car, apparently. It's all down to her. I don't see why she's got to ask for forgiveness. However, I do have my problem with the white chocolate. What's wrong with white chocolate? Nothing's wrong with white chocolate. And also our Belgian cousins, well known for their sequins, from what I remember.
So therefore
forgiven.
forgiven, of course.